Okay. Ready to go?
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, welcome back, everybody. It is time for yet another episode of Objects in Question, starring Zana. And then the applause, the studio applause button goes up, and all the crowds cheer and applaud. Just, yay! Woo!
Yeah. Let's fucking go.
Jane has graciously agreed to make time for us to do another Zana episode, which I'm very, very excited about. But what I'm going to do right here at the top of the episode is just explain when this episode takes place. So this episode is going to take place right after the rest of the party returned from Stokebolt Woods, but before the morning of the parade. So to put everything in sequence, all of you are asleep in the barracks, and all of a sudden, a door opens at the far end of the room, and Professor Spindle hurries into the room and starts shaking you awake, Zana.
Ah, don't do that.
That sounds like Zana was in like deep REM sleep right then.
I'm scared as shit.
Spindle looks at you with a serious look on his face, and he says, Problem at the college. Need Zana's help very quickly.
This better be good. So like groggily get ready.
The rest of your party is just dead asleep after their escapades in Stokebolt. They're sleeping in. And as you're getting ready, you wish so badly that you could just go right back to sleep. But
it's always a me problem.
Spindle is pacing nervously by the door, sort of muttering to himself and shaking his head. And once you have your effects, he takes you outside where actually there's a cart. There's actually a carriage ready to take you both quickly to the Mage College. And you've been obviously down in his study multiple times now, the library underneath the college. That's where you've been doing some of your research with him and looking at old relics and learning about curse lifting and things of that nature. But you hadn't really got a chance, unless I'm forgetting something, to go into like the college proper, like where the dorms are and like the main lobby. And instead of going down into the basement, he actually walks in through one of the front doors and goes right into what would essentially be like the reception area. And there's a person with a desk, and there's log books, and there's pen quills and paper everywhere, and students bustling around. And you see that Spindle catches the eye of the person behind the desk, and they immediately go beneath the desk and grab a set of keys and hand it over to Spindle, who walks over to a desk down in the lobby, unlocks it, and removes a couple very thick pairs of gloves. And he puts some on himself. There are multiple little sizes of them, but he hands you a pair, Zana, of these very thick, very insulated protective gloves. And he says, You must wear for safety.
Okay, fine. He'll just like nod along with it.
Spindle closes the drawer, locks it, and throws the keys back to the person behind the desk, and he starts going up a spiral staircase. He's like hopping them two at a time. For such a small individual, he's going up these steps very quickly, and you follow Spindle up this spiral staircase. And after a couple minutes of climbing, you realize, as you pass some of these slot windows, that you are actually ascending the clock tower that sits at the center of the school. And you get to the top of the stairs, and the first thing that your eyes are met with is there is a statue of a person standing at two large wooden doors, and the statue has its hand gripping the golden handle of one of the doors.
Mm. Okay. Like he was trying to get into the door.
Yes, that's very much what it looks like.
Oh, statues don't do that typically. I'm gonna check that out real quick.
Oh, okay, so you're doing an investigation check?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Roll it up.
So I'm like, statues don't open doors.
Hmm.
Well, 9.
Okay, with a 9, this just looks like a regular statue. All that you can divine from it, from where you are, is that it is just made of stone, but your suspicion remains the same of like, why would anyone put a statue in front of a doorway? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And Spindle sees the direction that you're looking and hurries over to this statue and then looks back at you and says, "This is Groundskeeper. Oliver Tamlin. Groundskeeper is cursed now."
Oh. So this was just a guy. Okay. That's concerning. Is this why the glove?
He nods and he says, "Oliver was supposed to help Tamlin secure a room to keep students out. Students must stay out. Very cursed room, very bad room. Oliver got here early, proceeded without Spindle."
Oh. So what turned him into a statue?
Spindle remembers from long time ago, very long time. Simeonne Carlisle. Carlisle was friend of Spindle's. Simeon, very, very paranoid man, very paranoid. Had lots of safeguards, protect room, protect research. Very important.
Yes, so it's some mad scientist magic thing in there probably then, huh?
He nods and he says, "Cursed explosion from a couple weeks ago must have caused door to become secured. Curse must have activated."
Mm. Okay. Like the door itself or whatever was in the room.
Why don't you go ahead and roll another investigation check? This time at advantage because of what Spindle has just told you.
Awesome. Okay. Advantage. Well, the first one is a 5, so I will definitely roll that again. The next one is a 6, so that's better.
What was the other one?
6.
6?
It's better.
Okay, so with a 6, you can see that visibly on the door there are glowing sigils. There is nothing subtle about the magic that is on this door. It is very clear that the entire doorway, it has some sort of a faint magical sheen to it.
Okay. Well, this is kind of my jam and the thing that I fix. And I got gloves on, so I'm going to try to open the door.
Okay. All right. I like it. Go ahead and roll a strength check at disadvantage.
Okay. First one and the second one. 10.
With a 10, with your gloves in place, you try to pull on the handle, the opposite handle, because obviously one of them is occupied. But you realize that because of how the doors flex and close together, this statue, having frozen in place, clutching the handle of one of the doors, is preventing the other one from opening.
Ah, damn it.
Spindle looks up at the doors, looks at you, and says, "Spindle has idea. Very, very dangerous idea."
Okay, what is it? You don't just say I have idea and then don't say it.
Carlisle, very smart, like I said. Very powerful enchantment on door. More than just curse. Much more than curse. Spindle's idea involves... And then he looks past you and then points to a window out behind you.
Involves what? That's just pointing at the window.
Spindle is sorry. Spindle will explain. Explain everything.
Climb?
Yes. Zana will have to climb on side of clock tower to reach balcony.
Oh no, I'm good. I can fly. It's fine.
Spindle turns his head to the side and says, Zana flies? You fly?
Yeah, I'm an angel person.
He, slaps his head like he forgot that and was like, oh yes, angel fly.
Okay. Well, if that's what I need to do, I'll go do it. She'll just go to the window.
Okay, so you go to the window, and I will go ahead and change the view here. So based on where you exit from, you can see that there is a very, very shallow ledge that seems to run around the top of the clock tower underneath the roof. There's not a ton of space, but if you activate your ability, you should just be able to fly with no problem.
Yeah. Okie dokie. We'll do that, and I will check off that I have used that as well. So just,
you haven't got to use that in a little bit, huh?
Yeah, no. Not since game 1, I think. But yeah, I'll just very casually just kind of not jump, but just walk out of the window and just pop down at the last second.
Of course, yeah. One of the comedy falls where you just sort of just drop randomly. And Spindle runs to the window really quick, and then you fly up in front of him, and he jumps back. But yeah, so on the map right now, you should be able to control your token. Why don't you go ahead and pick what side of the tower you're trying to investigate, seeing if you can get into. There's the west, the east, and the south of the tower.
Let's go east.
East. So you fly around, your angelic wings being buffeted by some pretty high winds, but you're able to successfully land back on this little ledge and peer through a window. And you don't see the balcony yet on this side of the tower, but just peering into the window. Go ahead, roll perception.
This has to be the good one. No, you're not listening, dice. That's a 6.
Okay, with a 6, there is what I can only describe as some sort of a strange film on the inside of the window that's making it difficult to see details inside of the room. But there's one thing that stands out very clearly, despite the fact that it's hard to see. There's one thing that you can make out, and there is a large pink glowing orb in the dead center of the room.
Okay. So I could be safe and take the time to find the balcony. Or I could just open the window and go in.
Ah, an interesting choice. Okay, so I will tell you right now. So there are bars, metal bars, that come down.
Okay.
You can still try to get in through that window.
Well, if there's metal bars, that ain't happening.
You doubt Zana's strength? Why would you doubt Zana's strength?
She just rolled a 10.
But yeah.
Find the balcony.
Okay, you find the balcony. So moving back around the building, was Zana just going to keep on sort of going counterclockwise around the tower, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, so to the south, you turn the corner, and there is a section of the tower where the roof arches upwards to sort of make a little covered area, and there is a small balcony that is set into the side of this tower that you are able to alight upon. And besides a few empty, like flower pots and a really rusted out telescope, there's nothing else out on the balcony itself.
Okay.
But you are able to gain access to the study via a door that is it's open, and the reason why it's open, it's actually been like exploded outwards by force, like it's barely hanging on by one of the hinges, basically.
Okay, so just broken.
Broken. And if you enter the study, go ahead and roll another perception check.
Okay. 18.
18.
Thank God.
With an 18, as you enter the study, something that becomes very apparent to you is that there are... The only way I can describe it is like arcane powder burns on almost everything in the room. It's as if some sort of magical explosion has taken place, but it was so powerful, so potent, that it actually did leave a bit of a ghost behind of its presence. There are marks on the ground that all seem to radiate from the center of the room, from the giant pink glowing orb that you can see now. And now that you're in the room and you see this thing at the very epicenter of the room, you realize that it is the largest scrying stone you have ever seen in your life.
Oh, that's what a scrying stone is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's a big problem, maybe.
You hear a muffled voice on the opposite side of the door from, like, where... So it would be all the way across the room, all the way across the study. Where you left Spindle, you hear, like, a voice behind the door saying something, but you'd have to get closer to hear it, because he's so far away from you.
Yeah. I'll go up to the door and listen up.
Okay, so as you approach the door, you see that there are similar sigils on the opposite side facing you, and you hear Spindle through the door say, "Carlisle had key. You must find the key. Find key, insert into lock. Magic will go away."
Okay, sounds good. Also, there's a really big rock in here.
Really big rock. You hear Spindle say, "Yes, very big scrying stone. Very big scrying stone. Please don't touch."
Did not plan on it, but now the temptation will be there, and he's just going to go find the key.
Okay, so it's at this point that I will go ahead and describe some of the features of this study. So, in this room, obviously you have the scrying stone in the center. You have sort of a drafting table or a desk, like a work table. And on the walls there are schematics, there are research papery type things. You see one illustration that's somewhat like the Vitruvian Man, except that from your encounter with the Paraform, you actually realize that this is all research about the Paraforms. And you essentially find a bunch of papers and scrawlings on that research that basically clarify that it was a mistake. Like, creating the Paraforms was a bad idea, and to cancel the project because some of them escaped.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
On that same desk...
Idea.
Yeah, very bad idea. On that same desk, you can see that there is a sort of a double portrait of a figure, a man wearing some dark purple robes that you could presume to be Carlisle. And then underneath, or you know what? No, you can absolutely, it is Carlisle because there's like names on the bottom, and there is this paired portrait, this portrait of two people standing next to each other. You see that there is a woman standing next to him, wearing white, pleasantly smiling, and you can see that it is placed in a position of prominence on this desk. Beyond the work table, the workstation itself, you see that there are just so many books littered around in stacks on the floor, but then also there is a very prominent bookshelf of like mahogany type wood in like a beautifully handcrafted shelf that's also like basically over by where the large 4-poster bed is.
Okay. Well, all of the books I have read on vacation tell me I should go pull random books until the secret entrance opens.
Okay. So you go up to the shelf?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go up to the shelf. Go ahead and roll investigation.
Okay. Oh, no. That's a nat 1. She's not very smart.
Okay.
She's
So
not a punch good. She does not investigate good.
so you walk up to the shelf and it's like analysis paralysis of like which one do I pull?
Oh, no.
Okay. I have an idea. I'm going to make a roll real quick. I want you to tell me how many books Zana pulls off the shelf. Like, with no other plan. Like, there's nothing... The investigation was to see if you could visibly tell anything. It's like an old animation when a book is going to be removed from a shelf and it looks entirely different from the rest of the books. I think Zana was like, maybe, is there one that's, like, very overtly different?
It stands out, yeah.
They all look dusty. So, like, how many books is Zana taking off the shelf? This is what I have to know.
No more than 5.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. So the first book you pull off is like a dark green book that says something about like the flora and fauna of the Ivray area. Some random book, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The second book that you pull off the shelf, you go to grab it, and because of its size, you would expect it to have roughly the same weight and heft that the first book had, because it's about the same size. But Zana, when you go to pull the second book off the shelf, it actually comes loose surprisingly easily, as though it's much lighter than the first book. And you actually hear something rattle inside of the book.
Ooh. Okay. I'll open the book just to see what that is.
So the book that you're holding, actually on the spine, reads Lockpicking, the Art and Science. And when you open up the cover of this book, you see that it is actually hollowed out. So all of the pages of the book have been removed in a sort of rectangle, just cut out. A space has been cut, and sitting in the middle of it, there is a silver key.
Okay.
I can't believe you're immediately just like, I'm going to remove all the books off the shelf.
Yeah. I will keep pulling until the secret entrance shows up.
How many more books do you pull off the shelf?
Oh, no, I'm just...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll take that key and see if that fits what I need.
Okay. I want you to roll me an Arcana check.
Things that I am famously good for. With a +0 bonus. Is a 1. I punch things. I'm not a detective.
What's really funny is the last session we recorded, everyone was rolling so freaking high all the time, and now I feel like it's cosmic justice.
Use up all the luck. This is a Marco problem. We should get him.
I'm going to tell you right now. So with a natural 1, what happens...
So
what happens is you turn around to start walking towards the door. And the moment that you turn around, you are face to face with someone that you did not know was in the room.
Oh my god.
And in that split second, I'm going to say that you drop the key because you're not one. I need you to roll dexterity to see if you can catch it before you lose it.
Oh god. How messy is this floor?
It's very cluttered. The room is very cluttered.
God.
Come on, Zana, roll high. You can do it.
Christ. Oh, thank God, a natural 20.
Okay, so you turn, there's a lady staring you in the face. You don't even have time to process this. You freak out. You drop the key, you gather yourself, and you Spider-Man, like, just grab it out of the air. And this figure, this woman, is still standing there. And you can see that based on your experience in Montrace, two things are very clear. The first is that this person is not physically there in the room with you. And two, it seems as though they're underwater almost. Their clothing and their hair is moving in a way that seems like it's not affected by gravity. And as you take in the scene, you can see that you can actually see through them just a little bit.
Oh, more ghost problems. They followed me home.
With the water effect, I'd see if any of the area is wet at all.
Roll investigation.
Yeah. Just because her immediate thought is, oh, water, that makes sense. Oh, there's no water because it's another 6. She's not a detective.
With a 6, you're confused as to why this figure looks like they're underwater when there's no water in the study. Why would they be? What's going on?
She looks right at her and she's just like, why are you wet?
The ghostly woman looks confused. Which I think that's when the Steam achievement pops up, is confuse a ghost, and that would be that's like a Zana achievement.
Yes.
But she looks at you confused, and she says, "Oh, I'm not underwater. I'm dead."
Well, duh, you're a ghost. You just looked like you were underwater.
She looks down at her hands, and she looks back up at you, and she says, "Are you here to make things better?"
Probably. I have a fairly okay win rate.
You didn't come here to steal anything.
No. I was just trying to figure out how to let my friend in here so we can check out what was apparently a big problem.
Why did you come in through the balcony?
Something's blocking the door. It was a dude that got turned into a statue.
When you say that, her eyes go wide, and she says, "Oh no. Not someone else getting hurt."
No, it's cruel and unjust. Anyway, how do I get the door open? I need to let him in so he can fix that.
She looks at you and says, "So you're here to help him then?"
Yes. Why else would I be awake so early? if not for good reason.
She actually softens a little bit and actually chuckles to herself when you say that, and she says, "You're very funny."
Oh, thank you, it is my charm.
She says, "If you're here to help people, perhaps you'll be able to help me as well."
There is like a split second where again she is just like wordlessly looking at the fact that this person has already died. And she's like, I can try. No promises.
She says, "You entered this place without fear. So many people are afraid of the curses that reside in here. Why are you not afraid?"
Oh, because like I kind of fix curses by touching them. It's my personal superpower.
At this, she hovers closer to you with like visible excitement on her face. And she says, "You're able to interact with cursed items?"
Yes, this is true.
What about people?
People I haven't tried yet. Most people around curses kind of like explode or die.
She looks at you and she says, "I was wondering. I have 2 requests, and I'll understand if you're unwilling to do either. One is for myself, and the other request is for someone who's been cursed because they entered this room. Not your friend outside the door."
Okay. What is it?
"Well, I feel dreadful that my husband's scrying stone has hurt someone, you understand. I don't remember much. I haven't been haunting this tower since I died, but there was some sort of a bright light that pulled me back here. Maybe it was the same event that caused so much damage to my husband's study and caused so many cursed items to go flying out the windows."
That's probably very likely. Big bad thing happen makes smaller bad thing happen.
My husband, while he was alive, he had many problems. He wasn't always the nicest person, but he and I, we loved this school, we loved the students. And one of the first things that I witnessed after being summoned back to this room, I don't know how, there were, 3 or 4 students, and I think they were talking to somebody inside the scrying stone.
Like, in it or through it?
I think through it. It was the first thing that I heard after arriving back in my husband's study. And I want you to promise me something, if you're willing.
Mm-hmm.
Promise me that you'll find the student who got cursed and that you'll help them.
Oh, job done. Basically, I just have to find them first, but I can do that.
Oh, thank you. That would mean the world to me. The other request is for me. I think this portrait being cursed is what brought me back here. And she's pointing, of course, to the portrait of Carlisle. And after she gestures to it and you look at the figure in the painting, you realize that that is a picture of her.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that looked important.
I don't know how to explain it, but I think that if somehow you were able to disfigure or maybe burn my half of the portrait, I would be able to leave this place again.
Oh. Not just like cure it outright. You want to like destroy that half of it.
Just my half. I don't know why, but that seems to be the thing that's anchoring me in place.
I mean, it's a very nice picture, but if you're like for sure about it, you
Well,
could.
you have the bearing of some sort of a strange angelic creature. I'm sure you understand that the afterlife is a whole lot nicer than a simple portrait.
Oh, it's great. It's really awesome. Sorry, inappropriate for the time.
It's okay.
Okay, I can tear up your portrait.
Oh, thank you. And she, like, sort of glides to the side to, like, let you pass.
Okay, yeah, I'll just go up to it and it's like, I hate to destroy good pictures, but I've been asked to. And she's just like rip.
So you successfully disfigure this part of the picture. And as you do it, you see that the ghostly figure, it almost is like somebody whose lungs are full of oxygen slowly floating back up to the surface all of a sudden. And she starts moving with every tear, every move that you make to destroy her part of the portrait. She's just sort of like raising higher and higher. And before she goes out of sight, you can see the visible relief on her face. But before she vanishes out of sight, she says, "Oh, one last thing. I don't know if it will be important, but that voice that I heard talking to the student who touched the scrying stone, the voice said, bathe in your wish, little one. Suffer this rebuke, arrogant hatchling, and dare not disturb me again until such time as humility has softened your soul."
They like big words.
She says, "Yes, I know. It was really hard, but I tried to remember it just in case it's important to help the student that you promised to find."
This is a very good lead and clue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, what was your name, by the way?
Zana.
My name's Eterna.
Oh, that's really cool. It even rhymes with mine.
She, like, as she's raising, all of a sudden she just sort of, like, shrugs and says, "Oh, perhaps I'll see you someday, at some point."
Yeah, I was going to say good luck in heaven. I will see you when my vacation is over.
Okay. Please feel free to come find me.
Will do, new friend.
She just drifts through the ceiling and she disappears.
Ah, okay. All right, where was I doing? Oh yeah, letting him in.
Just Zana picking up crazy side quests.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yes, it's right. You approach the door with all of its glyphs and everything, with the silver key in hand.
Yeah.
So, as you saw on the door when you were talking to Spindle, there is a large keyhole mechanism on the door to your right, and you can see through to the other side. It's one of those old-fashioned keyholes, and you can see that Spindle is just, like, nervously pacing back and forth when you, like, look through the keyhole.
Okay, Spindle, I think I got the right key. I'll let you in.
Okay, so you put the key into the lock?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as you put the key into the lock, you all of a sudden you feel as though the key is has been sort of sucked into place. Like it's not as though you just got the key sort of close, and then it just sort of goes into the keyhole, and even with your hand off of it, it just turns slowly. And you see that all of the glyphs that are on your side of the door slowly undo themselves as though they're being erased. They're being drawn backwards almost until they vanish. And the door, that magical shimmer that is just outside the surface of the door, slowly pulses a couple times and then fades into motes of glittery dust. And the door, all of a sudden, swings open really fast, and you see that the figure that was holding on clenched hand tightly to the door handle has fallen backwards, and right as they make contact with the floor, instead of shattering into a million pieces like your brain might fear, a very thin layer of stone just sort of cracks off of them like an eggshell. And this older man wearing, I guess, the fantasy equivalent of like a very utility type deal, just very plain brown clothes with some tools hanging off of a belt, looks around, like whipping his head around wildly, and is just breathing really hard and is like clutching his hand to his chest. And Spindle runs up to you, and again with his gloved hand, he just grabs hold of your hand and just shakes it really fast and just says, "Well done, very well done, my friend Zana." And then he runs over to the guy on the ground and like starts attending to him, just like patting him on the shoulder, like reassuring him, "It's okay, everything's fine, you're alive, like don't worry."
Good. Thank you. I tried. There was that over there, and she pointed to the stone. It's like, this is a problem. Also, there was a ghost. She was really cool.
Both of them are now looking at you wide-eyed, and Spindle just says, "Which one?"
Oh, her name was Eterna. It was really cool.
He immediately leaves Oliver on the ground and runs up to you and says, "Zana saw Eterna?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Spindle
Did
thought
you know
Eterna's
how-
ghost had gone and ascended already. Very strange indeed.
Oh no, she helped with the investigation.
He looks at you confused and says, "Is Eterna's ghost still inside the study? Still inside?"
Oh no, I ripped up her picture and sent her to heaven.
"Oh, very good, very good. Well done, well done."
But yeah, I think that big rock is like part of the problem. Also, apparently, like students were talking to somebody through it.
Zana, go
And-
ahead and roll perception.
Okay. So 15.
With a 15, as soon as you say that, you see that Spindle and Oliver, this this utility-looking guy, this groundskeeper, shoot each other just a very brief glance of like acknowledgement of what you just said. And Spindle says, "Yes, nasty business, very nasty business."
Yeah. And like apparently whoever was talking said, and then she'll just like try to recall what Eterna said to her, but like probably in a very dumbed down version of it.
Yeah. So they again look at each other, and Spindle actually grabs a piece of paper and jots down like what Zana says, and it's not exact.
Yeah.
but it's close enough that the message is clear. And he tears the piece of paper
something,
out.
drown in it.
Drown in it! He tears the piece of paper out and he hands it to Zana. And he says, very important. Very, very important.
Okay, we'll keep this for later when it inevitably comes up again in a very big problem.
If Eterna says important, very important.
Oh, I believed her. I didn't think she'd lie. We were friends.
You hear the groundskeeper, who has now staggered to his feet, look at Spindle and say, could it really be that simple? And Spindle says, not sure, don't know circumstances. Spindle wasn't told everything. Spindle also technically sworn to secrecy, so Zana must say nothing. Say nothing, Zana.
Nothing.
Very good, very good.
Wait, how are we supposed to investigate if you can't say anything?
Spindle's job only to find cursed relics. Nothing more, nothing more.
Well, what if, like, not as a job, but between, like, pals, like buddies, you opened up on that.
Spindle thought he
Between us
overheard
friends.
rumors. Rumors only. No details given to Spindle. That's why they keep Spindle down in library.
Oh, to keep you quiet, those bastards.
The groundskeeper looks at you and nods in agreement with what you're saying. The groundskeeper looks at you, Zana, and says, if I had my way, Spindle would have been elected as headmaster, not Masman.
These are unfortunate things, and hopefully one day the position will be open and you could get the job, Spindle. I think you do good.
Again, they look at each other, and the groundskeeper, Oliver, turns to you and says, he actually looks around first to see if anyone's listening, and he says, actually, as it so happens, another Aasimar, one of your kind, came to the college not all that long ago. Evidently, he had a conversation with the skull of Simeonne Carlisle, and during that conversation, he claims that the skull said that he wanted Spindle to be the next headmaster, and not Masman.
So, why not, then, if it was the Skullman's idea?
They got rid of the skull. They gave it to the Aasimar researcher and sent him on his way.
So they have rigged the election process on that. Damn it. Schools, man, I tell you. This is why I didn't go to school.
They both shrug. Just like, it is what it is. And Spindle smiles and he says, Spindle likes his library. Spindle likes his books. Spindle not unhappy.
If you're sure. Well, where do we go from here now that we've, seen this thing? Because also, I've got, a person I promised Eterna I would help.
Spindle looks at you and says, Spindle needed your help to lift Curse. Curse needed lifting really, really bad, very fast. Spindle's still looking for remaining items on Manifest. 3 more remain, Spindle thinks. Spindle has to find them. Or listen for news. News of bad things happening. News of curses in city, but has not heard anything yet today.
Okay.
It's at this point that you hear footsteps running up the winding staircase that you guys walked up. And I'm trying to remember whether or not you met this NPC before. I don't know if you did. But you see that there is a young lady, looks like a student, has parts of the uniform and the colors of the school. But she is toting a massive bag full of papers and scrolls. And she has just tiny little glasses set on her face. and the bag of messages in papers is so heavy that she has to constantly like right herself from toppling over, and she like hustles up to the three of you, and she holds out a small piece of paper, a little piece of parchment that has a wax seal on it, and she says, "Message for Zana?"
Oh my god, it's another fan letter, and she just goes and gets it.
Another fan letter is crazy. She awkwardly tries to like bow with her backpack and almost falls forward and has to like catch herself. And she starts walking back towards the steps, but you hear her just like huffing and puffing, and then she just like instead just collapses into like a chair by the stairway, and she just says, I just need a minute first.
Oh, please don't die.
Don't worry, it's not that bad. Whew.
I open up this letter.
When you open up the letter, you see that there's a message in sort of flowery, very well-written script that says, "Meet me at the blind man's bailey. We have party planning to do." And then down at the bottom, it's signed DC.
Oh my god, I'm being invited to a party.
So did you say that out loud? I'm being invited to a party?
Yeah.
Spindle says, "Spindle will work with Oliver to secure study. Good and proper. Lock up tight. Make sure students can't get in. Students must not get in anymore. Cannot happen again. You may go. Have day off."
I must get ready and look my best. Okay. Are you sure that big rock thing is like okay for me to leave? I don't need to do anything to like decursify it.
"Spindle and Oliver will not be touching Scrying Stone. Scrying Stone not cursed. Scrying Stone channel for curse."
Oh, okay. This makes more sense. I don't know this plane magic very well.
Confusing. Very confusing. Slow curse's new realm of science and discovery.
Oh, thank the gods it's not just me then. Okay. Well, good luck, guys, and she's gonna leave.
You hear Oliver's right before you go down the stairs. You hear Oliver say, "Hey, could I get those gloves?"
Oh yeah. Don't freeze again.
You toss him the gloves, and he nods at you, very very thankful for the gloves. And I will transition us back to Ivray proper, just the main city. So, when you get out of the Mage College, you've been to the Blind Man's Bailey before. That's where you met the players initially when you got into town, and that's where you guys fought the Paraform inside of it.
Right.
You would remember that the owner, proprietor, is a blind gentleman who runs it, obviously, because of the name. Let's see. Yeah, his name's Cambridge Hess. And I'm going to say that... Or, well, you know what? Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll say. Do you go straight there? Or is there anything else that you want to do prior to going to the Blind Man's Bailey? I'll open it up.
He would go straight there.
Okay, that's
Parties
fine.
are very exciting.
Right. Okay, cool. So, I'm going to say that when you walk outside, you probably don't have to ask directions because you've been back and forth across the city between the garrison and the Mage College enough times that you know how to get your way through the middle of the park with the fountains and the topiaries and past the Temple of Holy Unification, and you make your way there. It takes you a little while to get there by foot because you didn't take Spindle's cart, so you're on foot. But as you approach the blind man's bailey, I will go ahead and pull us inside the interior. And when Zana opens up the doors, you walk in, you see that Cambridge Hess is behind the counter, but sitting at a table by herself with a drink in her hand, you see that Dahlia Cromwell, your pen pal from Montrace, is sitting in the blind man's bailey.
Beeline to that table. To my best friend, are you kidding?
She rises as you walk in, and she stands up, and she greets you with a big hug, and she says, I know we were supposed to just be pen pals, but I thought about it, and I'm tired of just talking about going on some travels and trips, and I figured I'd surprise you and show up here.
Well, you do a good job. This is like last thing I expected. Big surprise.
She says, so you got my note?
Yes, the party planning, yes.
I've decided that after I'm done visiting and taking in the sights and sounds of this place, that I'm going to go back home and I'm going to throw the biggest party I possibly can.
Oh, dude, we gotta like go all out on that.
Right, which is why I need your help. I need to visit some shops, I need to get some ideas, some inspiration, I need to figure out what the aesthetic is going to be, what the color scheme is going to be, and like as she's talking about it, she's getting more and more like worked up, and just like she like almost wins herself and sits back down, and she looks at you and just says, I could really use your help.
You don't even have to ask. I was like, oh, I'm being invited, that means I'm also helping.
Awesome.
I know all good shops in this town. I've been here a bit.
Something that, so in the back of the room, you hear some motion, and you hear Cambridge from behind the counter say, just be aware that some of the shops might not be open today until the parade is done, of course.
Damn, yeah, the parade, that's right. I forgot with all this party excitement. She's like slightly less excited.
Dahlia looks at Cambridge and then looks at you and says, there's a parade? And she just has this like ecstatic look on her face. And she just says, I've always wanted to see what a parade looks like in the big city.
Oh, it's kind of like circus, but everybody's walking. You'd
Zana,
think it's
2026 a parade. It's like a circus, but people are walking. She says, that might be a good place to start. I mean, if nothing else, we can get something to eat, and maybe we can get some ideas from some of the outfits or some of the colors, maybe from the procession. I don't know.
Yeah. These are all good ideas. Just like matching the excitement every time it levels up.
So, yeah. So, Dahlia would accompany you back outside of the blind man's bailey, and after walking outside, between the two of you, like, inquiring as to, like, where is the parade, what's its starting point, like, all this stuff, you guys get told that the parade starts at the northern tip of the city and will sort of snake its way around near the college, and then wind its way down through the center of town, past the fountains, and it will end in like the southeast corner of the city, closer to like the garrison and the Nuirest. And so it's going to be like a longer parade. As you two are walking like up to the north, you hear a couple people talking about it, and you hear something about it being specifically a military honors parade. Go ahead and roll. I'm going to say roll history.
Oh, the thing I know everything about. You know what? That's a narrative die. It's nat 1.
Holy crap, Jane! What is this?
He's here on vacation.
What is this nat 1, nat 20 nonsense? Okay, so you roll a nat 1. You are just so happy to be chilling with your best friend that you're not even really like intaking the information about what this parade is for. You can hear some people talking about it, but the two of you are sort of just like, walking and following where some of the other people are going. And you arrive back up in the north of the city, and you can see that there are people lining the streets right near. You can see that out back behind the Mage College, there is a construction site. And working with Spindle, you would have heard some information about the fact that the school is about to add an alchemy wing onto the school, and that tomorrow there's going to be a highfalutin, high society fundraiser gala to raise money to finish the construction of this new wing of the school dedicated to the study of alchemy. And so part of where the parade starts is up towards that construction site. And there's lines and rows of people on both sides of the street as you and Dahlia approach. And she sort of gently grabs your arm and she says, "Let's stand over there. I want to get a good view." And she gets up on a raised platform by a fountain, so she can sort of see over the heads of people in the area. I always forget, how tall is Zana?
I don't know if I've ever written down a proper description.
I don't know if I've ever consciously thought about it.
She's not super tall. I think I've penned her for 5'4" or 5'5".
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you definitely see the wisdom in Dahlia's plan here. And you two hop up on this little platform, and it's gorgeous weather. It's a fall day, but it's sunny, and there's not a cloud in the sky, so the sunshine is warming you. And the two of you are watching as the first waves of the parade start walking past you. And the first thing that you guys would see is that there are so many ribbon dancers in this parade. There are so many of them. And they're all emblazoned with the colors of the kingdom, which is this deep royal purple. And you've never in your life seen ribbons this long and dances this complicated. But it's a beautiful opening section to the parade.
That's awesome.
Dahlia leans over to you and she says, "How long do you think it took them to practice that?"
Well, in my experience, and she'll just note off all the different punch katas and kicks and forms she practices. She's probably a while.
She looks at you and was like, "I find all that stuff really interesting. You're gonna have to teach me how to do some of that."
Oh my god, 100%.
So, if you taught me how to do some of that stuff, does that mean I also get to punch fire, or is that not how it works?
I don't think that's how it works. I think that's some weird side effect because I'm from heaven, but I'm not there right now.
She looks at you and she goes, Right. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. It's at least that's the hypo, that big long word that doctors use when they have an idea.
Hypothesis?
That one. Yeah, it's because I would punch in heaven, don't punch fire. I punch here, punch fire. So maybe not.
As some silence passes and the ribbon dancers are making their way past the two of you, she turns to you and she says, "Well, even though it wasn't under good circumstances, you know a little bit about my family. What about your family? Did you leave them behind in heaven, I guess? How does that work?"
Well, you know how you left town to come here? It's kind of like that, but bigger scale.
You make it sound so easy.
It's vacation. I didn't think too much about it.
She says, so, how long are you planning on staying down here?
Well, it was going to be for a couple of weeks originally, then I got arrested, and then people needed help, and I like helping people, so as long as people don't need me, I can head back, but I'd miss it.
I don't know how being pen pals between here and heaven works.
Well, that's a good question. I could see if there's a delivery guy that could come get the mail. It feels too pretentious to just say to pray about it. I'm not that high up.
Well, how about this? Can you at least promise me that you won't go back to heaven until we figure out how we can pass messages between the two of us, even if you do end up going home?
Well, yeah, of course. I'm not going to leave my bestie without a way to get to me.
Oh, that's good. That's a relief. Sorry. I haven't had a good friend since I was a kid.
This is sad. This is problem, and I fix problems. So there you go.
The next wave of the parade starts making their way, and it's a bunch of people in uniform. It's the first waves of the people in military uniforms. And these look based on the age of the soldiers, they all look like people who are currently in the army of Nova Nostria. And they're just bedazzled up. They're in their dressiest uniforms, medals hanging off of them, epaulets, the whole 9 yards, and they are holding banners.
I like their outfits. What does the banner look like, out of curiosity?
Good question. The banner, again, it would be that purple, but emblazoned in the middle of it would be, let me think. It would be a dragon with a sword plunged through it.
That's awesome. That's just a really cool banner. I like that.
After the military people march past, you can see that since you guys didn't know that there was going to be military presence there prior to actually showing up, you see that her expression changes a little bit and sort of darkens a bit. And I'll just sort of as a reminder, based on everything that happened in Montrace, their history with the Nova Nostrian military, it's not difficult to piece together why she might be a little bit more uncomfortable with a bunch of people in uniform. But after a little bit of time, she gets more of a neutral expression on her face and finally leans over to you in a more hushed tone, says I think you could probably design something a whole lot better than those uniforms they have on. Just saying.
Oh, this is probably true. But the aesthetic of the dragon thing is pretty... I could probably do something with that.
She laughs and she says, I'm sure you could. And
just running 1,000 different ideas through her head. Dragon, but 2 heads. No.
Does Zana keep a running a notebook full of ideas for fashion designs, outfits? Does Zana have a book?
I'd imagine she'd have at least a sketch pad.
Oh, that totally makes sense that Zana would have something like that.
Yeah. Maybe this one, the dragon is holding the sword.
So it's at this point that what would happen is the two of you are so engrossed in looking at your book, and then every once in a while as you're flipping through, Dolly would be oh, what's this one? It would sort of sidetrack you. I would just oh yeah, I made that one for this one thing a long time ago. It's not important or whatever. And you guys miss a good chunk of the military part of the parade, just looking at your sketchbook.
Mhm.
But both of your attention would be grabbed by some fanfare and some trumpets blasting. And when the both of you look up, you see that there is the only way I can describe it is it's like a horse-drawn parade float, and sitting on top of it is an older elf with some visible scarring on his face and a thick mustache, sort of solemnly waving, but like it doesn't take much to see that this individual is not super comfortable being the center of attention. And you see that next to him on the parade float is a younger woman with red hair. And I want you to roll investigation.
Okay. Every time I roll investigation, it winds up being a 6.
Is it another 6? Okay.
Well, what the hell?
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, let me just check something. I'm gonna make a roll for Dahlia, because this roll would also apply to her.
Save me, Dahlia, please.
Nope, she rolled a 2.
I can't be that important.
So this is like right as they round the corner, that fanfare happens. So they're still not super close to you, but it definitely gets your attention at first. And they round the corner and they get closer, and you can see again on Dahlia's face as the parade float gets closer, she visibly sort of shrinks and sort of deflates a little bit, and she leans over to you and in a more hushed tone says, "There he is. I can't believe it. It's the butcher."
Oh. The butcher? Oh, which one again?
So, above game, from your adventure in Montrace, you would know that the Butcher is the name given to a man named Thracius Tau, who was brought in to subjugate Montrace, because Montrace refused to bend the knee to the kingdom, and he's the one who led the second wave that just sort of annihilated anybody trying to resist, and as a final act of defiance, ended up doing a mass cremation in a nearby valley of his fallen soldiers and the fallen shepherds as permanent statement to prevent any future uprising.
Okay.
It's also where you and your party went to fetch the
thing,
item that Thesper Blythe asked you to retrieve.
Okay, yeah, I recall that.
Yes. So as soon as she says it's the butcher, like all of that would be flooding through your mind.
Oh, that's bad. Do you want to like leave? Do you want me to kill that guy?
She looks at you and says, "Oh heavens, no, don't kill him. I'd hate if anything bad happened to you because of something bad that happened to us in Montrace."
Yeah, it will be fine. But I won't, don't worry.
It's at this point, while talking with Dahlia about this, now the parade float is closer. I want you to roll perception again.
Okay, for the love of God. Dirty 20. Okay.
What? See, you just give it enough times. Give
no
enough
consistency.
times. No consistency at all. And you know what? That is okay. So as the parade float gets closer, you can see that there is something that is catching your eye on the float. And it's not the butcher. It is the young lady standing next to him. There is something that is momentarily blinding you on her person, and it is something that she is wearing around her neck. And as it gets closer, it's kind of hard to make out because initially it's kind of just like straight up blinding you. But as it gets closer to you, you realize that what is shining you full in the face is a small copper amulet. Now that the parade float is closer, you are 100% certain that you have seen this copper amulet before.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why you've seen it before is because it is the exact same amulet that you and your friends found in the Valley of Bones in Montrace.
Oh. Oh, why does she have that?
Dahlia looks at you and says, "Why does she have what?"
That amulet she wears. Me and the other two found that in she'll like drop her voice and make in the Valley of the Bones.
Her eyes get really wide and she's like, "Oh, Thesper had you go to that dreadful place? That's right."
Yeah, it sucked.
She leans into you and she says, "You're saying that the butcher's daughter has the same amulet that you found?"
Yes.
She's just like visibly confused. She's like, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe
No.
it's a duplicate? Maybe
I hope so.
Maybe it was common, or maybe it's just a coincidence.
I don't know. It looked very familiar.
You said that... Okay, so above game, you would know that Thesper Blythe was the one who sent you in there.
Yes.
I don't remember if you already dropped his name or if I dropped it. But she would say, "Why did Thesper send you there? Did he say why?"
Did he say why, or did he just...
The
he just like, go get this?
The reason why he sent you into the Valley of Bones was to find the amulet that his sister vanished with.
Okay.
That she foolishly, she was a little bit older than him, she ran off when all the soldiers were going off to try and protect Montrace, and that she never came home. And since the Valley of Bones fiasco, everyone just sort of presumed, like, anybody who was involved in the conflict that day, probably dead, probably burned. Like, makes sense. And you guys found the copper amulet halfway pinned under a boulder.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, she'd, like, give that reason. And be like, I don't think it's the same one. Or I hope it's not the same one, but...
I'll have to check in with Thesper and make sure that he still has it. I can't imagine that he would ever give it away willingly to the butcher.
No. Not on purpose.
Thesper will talk about Ilda every once in a while, but not very often. It makes him sad, I think. And the parade continues past both of them, the butcher and his daughter, just sort of waving to the crowd, and they pass by. And following up behind the more military part of the parade, there's just a ton of people dancing. Like, sort of just like behind. They're in sort of kind of rows, but they're not necessarily doing like a crazy choreographed thing. They're just sort of vibing out, dancing behind what's going on, and several layers of these dancers pass. So there's now like a good chunk of distance between the parade float, which goes around a corner, and now it's just like just people dancing, some people doing some like juggling tricks, just people doing some acrobatic type stuff. The mood on Dahlia's face has picked up a little bit more now that the butcher and his parade float is sort of out of view.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, she'll like keep all that like tucked away for now. But like if Dahlia's in good mood, she won't do anything to mess that up.
Dahlia gets like a mischievous look on her face, and she looks at like the dancers, like the people in the parade, and she turns to you and she just says, "Is it against the rules to join a parade?"
She'll like see what she's getting at, and she'll be like, "Well, if it is, they'll arrest us." And then, as if it's like, "Oh, what could possibly go wrong?"
I have an idea. You still have some of those outfits you've collected, right? Maybe we could try and find one to blend in.
Always, of course.
She smiles and then like runs off to try and find like a secluded spot to like Superman wardrobe change.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
She goes into like a textile shop that has little areas for people to like try things on, and she like opens the door and like motions with her head to like quick in here like before anybody notices.
Yeah, just dive in, yeah.
And so this is a fun moment where you get to just create an outfit. What are the outfits that you guys come out of here wearing?
Extravagant as fuck. We're talking sequins everywhere, lots of colors.
So you're putting the other parade dancers to shame is what you're doing. I love it. Okay.
They're like parade, like appropriate for a parade, but like we're like one step above.
What's the colors? What's the colors you're going with?
Yes. A lot of like yellows and blues.
Ooh. Yeah. I like that. So are they like? So you said extravagant. So I'm picturing, are these like crazy tunics, or is it like dresses? Like what's the vibe?
Yeah. I don't know if extravagant was like super hyperbole, but it's like very like fancy tunics. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Like
all right.
Belts and stuff
I like it.
that.
I like. Ooh, very very nice. So like when you walk out in the midday, it's like a disco ball. There's just lights bouncing off of everything. So you get your outfit together pretty fast, I would assume, because of your fashion skills. Dahlia like doesn't come out of like the changing closet, and you hear her like muffled behind the door a little bit. She's like, after I've thought about it, I'm not so sure about this anymore.
No, this was your idea, damn it. You're going to do it.
She's like, I don't know if I'm pulling it off as good as you are, though.
Quit comparing.
She like
it's the theft of joy.
She peeks her head out. Well, just gonna hit us with that gem. She peeks her head out and steps out, and she's wearing the outfit that you basically designed for the two of you. And she's like, okay, all right, let's do this quickly before I change my mind. And she like speed walks out the door, and like right as you guys walk out the door, like some of the last rows of dancers are just starting to move away. So you guys are at like the back end of the parade, and without missing a beat, she like looks at you and then like gives like a signal like now, and she like jumps onto the street and just starts just like freestyle dancing, doing some spins and stuff.
Right in there, just going for it too.
So the two of you are bringing up the rear of this parade, and you guys walk the length of the city, just vibing out, having a private little laugh to yourselves that nobody knows that the two of you are not supposed to be in the parade.
Supposed to be here.
And you know what? Go ahead, roll performance with advantage. I'm gonna roll for Dahlia to see how she does.
Okay. I'm glad for advantage because that is a +0 that we are asking for here.
Okay.
Alright, first one's a 16.
Ooh, not bad.
Then the second one's a 2, so yeah, I'll take a 16.
16. So, obviously you have all of your fighting style moves that you're able to sort of like tweak a little bit and
Yeah.
turn into just like full-blown like dance moves. The only difference is you're not actually punching, you like sort of pivot into other things. Dolly actually got a 17. So between the two
Nice.
of you, like the freestyle dancing that's going on and the twirls and like keeping up with the rest of the crowd is going very well. And you can
Nice.
see like there's a couple like kids on the like the sides of the street watching the parade, specifically when they see you practically like glowing in the sun from the like the magical energy radiating off of you because you're an Aasimar. The kids are just like, whoa.
They are
Like,
inspired.
yeah, between like the sequins and everything, it's just like a bright, glittery flash, and every move that you make is just casting these lights around on the buildings to the left and right, and the kids are just like, they've never seen anything like that before.
So the walking god rage.
Yeah, the Jacob's Ladder stuff going on, just craziness. But yeah, you for sake of time, since we're about at time here for the session, you guys spend the day visiting every possible shop you can, getting inspiration for a party that Dahlia is going to have at her now it's her property now that her dad has passed. And so she's like, between you like walking her through like, oh, we could do this, she's like trying to come up with ideas, and yeah, you guys like do a party plan day. And she tells you, she's like, I'm planning on staying in town a little bit longer just so I can actually take in, the whole city. There's so much to see. And as you're standing there, the peacekeeper actually walks up to you, Zana, and she says, oh, it's about time I found you. Sorry, I had to march in that stupid parade there for a little bit, pressures of the job and whatnot. Who's this? Pointing at Dahlia.
Oh, this is my bestest friend on the whole wide everything. This is Dahlia.
Well, nice to meet you, Dahlia. I'm Peacekeeper Soph Wilder. I can see that the two of you are quite luminescent at the moment. That's very nice, very pretty outfits. Actually, I've come to talk to you somewhat about that very matter. Your compatriots, the investigators from out of town, have managed to find themselves invited to the fundraising gala tomorrow. But speaking from one fashion sense to another, mine being, a holdover from my Piraten days, they're going to need your help getting in form for this party. I'm afraid that the garments that they are wearing today won't meet the standard of the people at the party tomorrow.
Of course. My services are of the utmost readiness right now. It's kind of on my brain today.
She says, you'll be attending the party with the rest of your friends tomorrow, I hope.
I will wear my best suit.
And after she says that, you would immediately clock kind of like a look of like crestfallenness on Dahlia's face.
Oh, why sad? No, sad. Why sad?
Oh, no, it's, and she's like talking quieter, like she's not trying to talk to the peacekeeper. She's like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm sure you'll have lots of fun tomorrow. It's fine. I can hang out in some of the local shops until you're done.
Why? You're gonna be there. You can't not hang out with me now.
She looks at the peacekeeper, and the peacekeeper says, that can be arranged.
This is a requirement for my services, just so you know.
The peacekeeper looks at you and says, that's a very good idea. Instead of accepting payment for your overhauling the wardrobes of the others, why don't we just say that this is your payment? And she goes into like a bag on the side of her hip, and she pulls out a spare invitation to the gala and hands it to Dahlia.
It'll work out.
Dahlia is like starstruck, staring at this invite. She's just staring at it, and she looks at you and she says, "I've never been invited to a party before."
Oh my god, me neither. It's so exciting, right?
We have to figure out what we're gonna wear tomorrow. She like immediately starts like speed walking away. She's like, "Oh, and we just made this outfit, but this won't work." And she's just like talking, like verbally processing out loud.
I've got some of I got that other one, but like I've got some older sketches if you want to look at those.
Yeah, that's the two of you. And the peacekeeper just like says, "Good luck in the fashion challenge of getting the rest of your friends to look presentable for tomorrow. I don't envy your task."
Oh, I need it.
And with that, the two of you make your way back to the Blind Man's Bailey to start planning for the next day for the gala. And as you and Dahlia walk back to this pub with the fall evening colors just brightly shining off of every available tree, you take a moment to savor that even though you are on the mortal plane, the feeling of uplifting somebody else and hanging out with your friend and going to a parade and talking about ideas, for a split second, it's almost like you forgot that you weren't back in heaven, where just the mortal plane, just this specific day, there's just something so good about it that you take a moment to just sort of breathe in, even though it's not heaven, just intaking all the details of this day in Yvray so you won't forget them. And the two of you walk into the doors of the Blind Man's Bailey, and that is where we will end.
His little slice of home.